Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome back to yet another episode of The Coffee Club. And once again, I am joined by my co-host, Fraser.
Hello, everybody. Welcome back. Thank you for coming to the last two episodes, and we've made it to episode 3.
Yes, it's a new it's not a new record because we made it to like 12 last time, but it's a new record. We've actually done 3 weeks in a row. Yeah.
And we almost did one yesterday, but I basically completely forgot that we were recording because I had some things come up. And then I get back, I sit down on the sofa, and I look at my phone, and there's just 3 messages from Thaf just being like, when are we recording?
Like, when are we recording?
And I was like, oh, God.
Yeah, no,
I'm not used to it yet.
I've done that before. Like when I'd be going shopping and then I come back home, I sit at my desk and everything, I'm chilling, and then I open up Discord and there's 15 pings. And I'm like, oh, there was something I had to do today. And, and it's like, it's the awkward call afterwards.
Yeah, because we're doing Thursday recording, so I was like, oh, it's not Thursday, it's Wednesday, and then I realized, literally a day before we agreed to do the connection recording.
It was literally your idea as well.
Yeah, I know. I
the
don't know.
irony.
I think it might be an ADHD thing. I don't know.
It's definitely an ADHD thing because I've done that before. Like I had the idea of being like, let's record some more, and then I'd forget, and then I've got egg on my face because it was my idea in the first place.
Yeah, no, honestly, bro. Like, yeah, we're here. It's all good.
Yeah, exactly. We're here. It's fine. We're here. Are you happy, guys?
Yeah, I'm very happy to see that the last episode did 2,000 views in 2 days. That was cool. I have been wondering, like, how people have been fully listening to it. Is it just, like, in a state of right now where it's, like, a new thing and it's just going to slowly grow over time? Like, I'm genuinely interested. So, like, if you guys are, like, tuning in, just let us know your feedback. Let us know any forms of questions or anything you want to comment down below. It'd be cool to, like, build more of, like, an audience over
and
here.
A community.
We're so determined to be here for like a long time. I think it is just more a thing of like, once you get past that like 10 to 20 episode sort of moment, then people start to realize, this is like an actual weekly thing,
Yeah, it's like going to the gym and stuff. It's like when at the start of the new year, everyone has that new year resolution. I'm going to get fit this year. I'm going to go to the gym. And they would, you go to the gym, you're going there like every other day or every day for about 2 weeks. And then on the second week, you're like, I can't be asked anymore. Like, you don't want to get to that point. Once you get to the 2 week and you get past the 2 week threshold, you're good. Like, it's not part of your routine.
Yeah. No, I mean, I was honestly talking to the gym, like at the beginning of the year, I was like going regularly. I was getting fit again. I was running a lot, and I break my ankle. I've never broken an ankle. I've broken my arm before. I fractured it when I was younger. But I broke my ankle a day before my birthday, which was great. So, like, since then, yeah, I know.
It was unlucky.
Fantastic. Literally, like, the worst birthday present you can get. But yeah, that happens.
Broken bone.
Yeah, man. And it's been 2.5 months, and, like, I'd say it's like 80% healed. I can still feel it now and again, but like it's one of those things of where it doesn't fully heal for like a good amount of time, and then it like still takes like months on end to like fully strengthen again. So it's like, bro, I'm a big sport guy. To the people that don't like know me, I like playing sports more than watching it. So like not being able to play sport has been like the last few months. Honestly, I've just been like, I've gained a tiny bit of weight. I've lost a bit of it now, but it's just like, it's not fun.
It's really not fun.
I miss going to the gym. I
think for me, it's not really any excuse other than just brain worms preventing me from going to the gym sometimes because of the stuff that I do on like YouTube and streaming. But I was very, very consistent at the start of the year. I was going on runs. But the thing is that I mentioned this in the last episode before all my tracking died, but like the one thing I know would get me back on form is cycling. And I've told you guys.
You inspired me.
Yeah.
You inspired me the last episode. Yesterday, I biked into like London Bridge, Old Street area, went around Shoreditch.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, man.
Like,
it was good. And it's so easy to bike in London.
It's easy to bike in London, but see, this is the thing that I mentioned in the last episode. I will mention again. I very much took Lime and like cycle hire for granted because I still live in London. Obviously, I'm not going to say exactly where I live. I'm like, why would I dox myself on a podcast? But like, I used to use Lime all the time, even just to go to the shopping center. Like when I lived in my old place, I basically just I think I have Lime Premium still on my phone.
I was gonna say they have a monthly subscription, right?
Yeah, so that it lets you hire bikes just like that and everything. So I literally just scanned the bike and then I just went cycling and then I paused it, went shopping, then got back on the bike, cycled all the way around and back home. And that was like my routine. And I'm pretty sure that helped me like maintain a good weight. But when I moved, I opened the Lime app, and you know what, the biggest shock to me came when I opened the Lime app and the entire area I lived in was a red zone. The whole area, it's the worst part as well, because normally when I'm cycling in my old place, when you go towards a red zone, your bike slows down, then the engine, well, it's an e-bike, but you have to do most of the work anyway, but the engine part stops, which makes the bike a lot heavier, meaning that like you have to cycle back. But this time, the entire area is a red zone, so I'm going to have to buy a bike, and I told you about the problems with buying a bike currently, so I don't think I need to repeat that, but that's probably the reason why I just haven't been on the gym grind, because if I get a bike, it would genuinely just get me set, because I really miss it.
But you're like in terms of gym and stuff, like the last time I saw you, you're like a muscly guy. Like you I remember you put on a bunch of muscle. So like I feel like that lasts a while too. Like I feel like it's not hard to lose muscle, but like it takes a while to lose, I'd say.
I think because a lot of the weight is in muscle instead of just like fat in general. But I think part of it is that I used to, when I was young, like this is like when original Coffee Club was running, I was doing free running and stuff like that. Like just around that time, I was like running everywhere. I was running, jumping, trampolining, all that kind of stuff.
I'm pretty sure you used to run to mine, right? Like,
yeah,
or something like that.
Yeah,
like
no, I cycled all the way. When you lived in your old place, I remember cycling all the way there from mine. I didn't bother using public transport. I cycled all the way there, parked the bike, and then instead of using public transport back, because by the time we were like, I was heading back, it was like 2 or 3 a.m. So there was nothing on. I just cycled. I mean, I kind of just missed that vibe. Like that vibe of being able to cycle everywhere, I really took it for granted, because this area is great. It's magnificent for like cycling, but you have to now do it yourself instead of, the government or like the council doing it for you and maintaining.
I remember as well in like 2019 when you were like biking to mine, like that was the era of where you could just pick up and drop off a Lime bike anywhere. Now you've got to go to parking spots.
You have to,
then, yeah, you can't. And it makes sense because it's so much bigger than it was like 7 years ago.
Yeah.
But yeah.
It's the parking part is probably the most frustrating part, because like I used to park my the Lime bicycles when I went to Westfield. I used to park it. About like Westfield Stratford City, right? Like how the layout, right? Around where the tonkatsu is, like outside that entrance and everything, there's a big cycle area, because everyone used to dump their Lime bikes there. Lime made it so you have to park it at a cycle, like you have to park it in a cycle park. And it was really annoying because the app doesn't know what's a cycle park and what isn't, because it's normally based on location. And they ask you to take a picture of the buildings around you, and they still don't get it as well. I'm like, it's a cycle park. It's a cycle park, dude. It was so frustrating.
Annoying, I always wonder, like, what do you do when, say, if you're like using like a Lime bike or a scooter, what happens when your phone runs out of battery? Like, are you kind of just fucked? Do you have to go back?
That's happened to me. That's actually happened to me. So, when I was cycling, I was pedaling so hard, and my phone died right as I got home. Right? And
so that wasn't too bad then.
No, but that's the thing though. Right as I got home, my phone died, but I had to like park the bike, because the problem is with bikes, it's London. I know it's kind of a stereotype thing. Bikes can get stolen very, very easily if you leave them unattended, especially Lime bikes.
It's a stereotype for a reason in London,
I know, but like Lime bikes are probably the worst for it. I think the reason why Lime bikes,
people will just pick them up.
Yeah, pick them up and go. And I think there's TikToks of people, a tutorial on how to break the lock on a Lime bike. There are actual tutorials on TikTok that people were doing that Lime had to put extra security on their bikes. But the point is, around the time that my phone ran out of battery, this wasn't a thing. So it was like, I had to sprint upstairs, put my phone in the charger for like 2 minutes. And the thing is, Lime charges you based on how long you're on the bike for. So I had to my phone was charging. I had to get my battery pack, sprint back downstairs, take the picture, and end the ride. But yeah, that was In terms of just like the whole that's kind of where things have been going, like, you know, exercise wise. Like, I miss Lime, but I'm probably going to go get a legitimate bike once Halfords or Decathlon actually gets their shit together. But as for this week though, like you know how we mentioned about exercising, parts of the exercising thing also is the diet. And I'm not gonna lie, I went to the cinema earlier this week. I ruined my diet, bro. Large salted popcorn, large large like, Pepsi Max.
I mean, the Pepsi's fine, but the popcorn's like over 1,000 calories.
I think at the time I hadn't eaten anything for like, I think it was nearly 24 hours, because I'd literally like, I have this thing where I just rarely scran unless I absolutely need to. I notice it because I'm too busy. I'm too locked in on work. And when I went to the cinema, the thing is, what made it even more awkward was that I sprinted. I was like jogging to the cinema. So where I'm at, I had to stop at Embankment, and from Embankment to Leicester Square is like about a 10 to 12 minute like walk. I ran the whole way because I was already late for I thought I was late for the screening, but I made it to the cinema. I asked for large popcorn. I'm not gonna lie, the popcorn was so salt. I've never had popcorn that salty while I was watching the movie.
Salty popcorn's crazy. I can't eat salty popcorn.
Really?
Yeah, I can have mixed because it kind of it like balances, but salted popcorn for me I really don't like. And I feel like is it like a big thing in the States? Like, if anyone's listening, let us know. Like, because like I don't think it is. I feel like they have more butter.
It's butter and sweet. Because I remember when I watched Dune Part 2 at the Alamo Draft House. Then again, it's the Alamo Draft House. They are very bougie, as in the equivalent in the UK is Everyman. So it's like they have all these bougie ass dinner with you and everything. But that one was more buttery and like mixed and everything. I remember I think I just don't like having sweet popcorn that much. Personally,
I love it, man.
Like, I don't know.
That's why I don't get it. I eat it in like 5 seconds. Like, I will finish it before the movie starts.
Oh yeah, well, I mean, it's easy nowadays.
Yeah, but true, because there's fucking so much less. But like, I swear, when you were a kid, the amount of popcorn you'd get would be insane.
It looks insane to you.
I was gonna say, I don't know if you misremember it because you were a kid, but like, I don't get food in the cinema now for the reason of like simply. Well, to be fair, with Cineworld you get 25% off snacks, which is quite nice if you've got the membership. Mm-hmm. But and that actually does, like, if you're going with more than yourself, you're going with 2 people, and you say if you're going with like a girlfriend or like just a good friend, and like that, and you want they like when bank transfer you how much they paid for it, but like you can save a lot of money if you do a group purchase. That helps, but even then though, it's still ridiculously expensive. And then for me, it's just like the calories. Like, I remember when I was like 5 years ago, I was trying to do like keto, and it was like so embarrassing because I bought the hot dog and I didn't eat the fucking bread. I just ate a plain ass. I quite literally raw dogged a hot dog.
I've done that. The thing is, I've done that before, because the ones that Cineworld give you, they're so fucking big. They're huge. Like, they're long. I think compared to like when I got a hot dog at View, Cineworld's hot dogs are fucking long.
Really big, dude.
I remember when I was watching Iron Lung earlier this year, they gave me the plainest, biggest fucking hot dog ever. I think I took a picture of it. I'll probably, let me, if I can find it on my phone, I'll show you the picture. But when I had it, they didn't even put any condiments on it. They literally, the way Cineworld works is that they just make you say, do it yourself. Like, and I'm like, that's not exactly entirely, I don't think that's a good idea to have it done yourself, because it's out in the open.
Yeah. When I went to a cinema in the States, though, I was kind of like expecting like a magical experience. And I think it came from the fact that I grew up watching Drake and Josh. And you know when they go to the movie theater and that? And I was just kind of expecting the food was going to be awesome. So nachos in the UK, when you go to Cineworld, nachos are quite good. Like, they're warm,
they're pretty good. Also, I found the hot dog. I sent it to you.
Holy fucking shit.
We'll put it on screen on the edit.
Yeah.
But that's what they gave me.
What the fuck? That's fucking it's not even long. It's thick as well. That's the weird. It's like girthy.
I'm honestly, listeners are gonna listen. They're gonna listen and they're gonna be like, "What are they talking about?"
Bro, no. If you see this, this is that's the biggest hot dog I've ever seen.
That's a huge glizzy.
That's fucking ginormous. That is the biggest hot dog I've ever seen in my entire life.
And that was that for Iron Lung.
That's crazy, man.
But yeah, and also I think part of it is that I think you're probably gonna get to it, but part of it is not just the quantity being less for popcorn. It's also the ads. I have now trained myself to get to the cinema 15 to 20 minutes later, so I at least get the trailers, because I actually timed how long it would take from the actual screening beginning to the movie starting. I timed on my stopwatch 30 minutes.
Really?
30 minutes on IMAX. It's ridiculous how long these screenings are, to the point where I think some cinemas actually have it that they tell you when the screening actually begins. Like they have a thing, because I think with View you have to do the math. Like they tell you when the screening ends, so you have to do the math with the runtime of the movie, so you know when to actually go there. But like, it's so annoying because I think by the time movies begin, I'm halfway done with my popcorn. I think this week I watched Project Hail Mary. I strongly I'm not gonna lie, just completely enough, I strongly recommend you watch that movie. I think Project Hail Mary
I need to.
And do you know the reason why I was watching it at that IMAX in Leicester Square? It's because I tried to watch it at BFI, all the tickets were taken, all of them sold out. I've never seen this.
I tried to get tickets at the BFI to see Doom Part 3 and they sold out in like 10 seconds.
Yeah, they literally just said today that they're restocking tickets. They said today they're restocking tickets on 70 mil. Yeah, I was like, I need to do it. I need to do it because BFI IMAX. And the thing is, I think the annoying part about BFI IMAX is that BFI IMAX used to be run by Odeon, but Odeon's deal ran out. So now it's actually run by the British Film Institute, and their website is so crap. Their website is so bad.
Yeah, so bad. Like, honestly, it crashes every time I try to buy tickets when there's a bit of demand. Yeah. And also, I swear, I may be chatting shit right now, but I swear the BFI wasn't as popular as it used to be. Like, I swear it was like not as known as it is now. Because like I used to be able to get tickets to go to the BFI, but now it's like almost impossible unless you're like seeing something like 4 weeks later. Like I remember I've gone to in the 2019 to 2021.
We watched Captain Marvel there.
Yeah, we did, and Joker.
Yeah, and Joker. Did we watch? I thought we watched Joker at the O2.
No, we watched Joker at the BFI. 100%.
I think I might have also watched it at the O2 because I know for sure it was the O2 Greenwich because that's when we saw a group of people fighting at the Five Guys outside at Cineworld. But BFI. Yeah. I know that BFI one. I think it's also just Lockdown and Letterboxd. Like we've said before in the last one, once again, plugging our Letterboxd. I think we use Letterboxd pretty frequently, but I think it's the existence of sites like Letterboxd going big over lockdown.
Yeah, 100%. I think a lot of like, not niche, but like I think it's gonna sound weird. No, I don't know. It's confusing. I feel like obviously film has always been popular, but I'm saying I feel like getting into talking about it online was like more popularized by COVID and stuff. Like people being locked indoors and stuff like that.
And YouTubers as well.
Yeah, there's my favorite thing and the trend of like people saying that they really like a certain thing and then never playing or watching the thing. And you mentioned it in the last episode with Persona, and I'd never heard that before. Literally, like a day later, I go onto TikTok, and it's like an NBA player playing some like Persona game, and the top comment is just, "What, he's played more than the average Persona fan."
Exactly, it's what I'm saying.
And I was so confused. And this has also been a topic of discussion on Twitter recently in the Zelda community, because basically there's like two factions of Zelda fans. Well, there's three, because there's the fan that likes all of it, and then there's the fan that loved the Breath of the Wild era, and the fan that loved the era before that. And basically, this person was getting a load of shit because their whole profile was like centered around Zelda, but they'd never played Majora's Mask before, which I don't think is a problem. But the issue, I would say it's not a problem, but you should play it. The reason they got flack was because they made a tweet saying, "Oh, I'm playing Majora's Mask for the first time on Twitch." So I'm like, well, they're playing it. They're playing
exactly.
It,
they're doing it. I don't understand why there's so much people. They're experiencing it now, and I think it's also better for them because if they're a big Zelda fan already and they're experiencing Majora's Mask for the first time, that's generational, right?
I've never played it or Ocarina. I've played the first dungeon in Ocarina of Time like 5 times, but it's like one of those things of where I just need to lock in and play. I honestly, I've barely played any Zelda games. I've played Breath of the Wild. I've played Twilight Princess. I've played about 80% of Minish Cap now. And that's literally it. I want to play them, like a lot of them, to be honest with you. I'm probably going to play Wind Waker next, I think.
Nice. It's like, I've seen the same thing with the Soulsborne community where, you know, as in, I don't know whether you've recently seen the announcement, but during CinemaCon, which is a big convention that's run by Cinema United, which is it's an agency of all the studios and theater owners, they all band together. I think it used to be called the National Association of Theater Owners, but they had to change the name because it was shortened to NATO, and NATO already kind of exists.
That's fucking hilarious.
They renamed it to Cinema United, and CinemaCon's a big convention. It's basically like E3 but for theater owners and people who like film. During Sony's panel, they announced that a Bloodborne R-rated animated I think it's a series or a movie. It's a Bloodborne R-rated animated movie is being made, and Jacksepticeye is producing it.
Yeah, I've seen that, man.
Did you see the amount of venom that people had because Jacksepticeye was doing it? Because they were like, a YouTuber. But like, Jacksepticeye loves Bloodborne. Like, he lives and breathes like Bloodborne. Tattoo and everything, he's played it somewhere, he plays it every year. I think that's the problem where people are like, oh yeah, we shouldn't let fans do it. Or, oh yeah, this YouTuber can't possibly be a fan of this thing. You have to have been a fan since like frame one or everything. Because I think Jacksepticeye didn't play Bloodborne at launch. He only played it like a couple of years back, but since then he made it his entire personality, and I'm like,
but it's like
I don't see a problem.
To like interject, I was never into Star Wars until this is gonna sound hilarious because of how bad this film is. I like literally did not go to see like The Last Jedi. I saw The Force Awakens in cinema because my friends wanted to see it, but up until 2019 I did not care about Star Wars, and then the Rise of Skywalker trailer came out and I was like, bro, this kind of looks good. I was like, bro, they're kind of cooking, man. I'm kind of interested. There's that Palpatine's back, and I know who that guy is. I've seen.
Yeah, and then you're like, and then you watched it. You must have felt so bad.
Well, the thing is I then spent 6 months of my life watching like 1,000 Star Wars theory videos, like so many like theories and everything, and like tons of lore, and I basically became like an expert on Star Wars before like the Rise of Skywalker. I knew everything more than I know now, and I then went to a triple screening of The Force Awakens, The Last Jedi, because I wanted to see The Last Jedi in cinema because I hadn't seen it in cinema. And then I saw The Rise of Skywalker, and I was having a really good time. The Last Jedi in cinema for the first time was actually really cool. I actually really enjoyed that, bar the casino stuff. And then it gets to The Rise of Skywalker, and in the first 5 minutes, I turn to the people that I'm with, and I'm like, I got a bad feeling about this. And it was like, I've never sat for a movie ever. Like, I'm one of those guys. And you've seen me do it. I'll go to the cinema and watch a movie, and I'll be like, "Oh, it's the best thing. I loved it. It was so good." And then I'll, a few weeks later, I'll be like, "Well, it's probably not that good." And but with like the Rise of, so it's very rare for me to like leave the cinema hating a movie. Like it has to be bad. I think it's happened 3 times, and they're all slop. So one of them was For Love and Thunder. I went to the premiere for that. Natalie Portman was there. Taika Waititi was there, and even in the vibes with such. So much energy around you. No, it was awful. So that was, but that wasn't as bad as The Rise of Skywalker because like that movie didn't really mean anything. Whereas The Rise of Skywalker was like the ending of Star Wars, pretty much. Like, well, at least we thought. And I remember being like actually disgusted. I was like so like I've never felt like this must be how it feels to be like an actual film nerd and actually like hate films. There's people out there that like
hate movies, man.
Like people who like get disgust at like comic book movies, and I get it at points. Like I've never really understood that feeling or how somebody could have such like a emotional response to a movie. But I was like, no, that was like almost like completely insulting. It was so bad. So like, and up to that point, I was like the first real experience I had with cinema and Star Wars. So like, and I would classify myself at that point to be a very, very, very big Star Wars fan. And I very much feel like I could navigate the lore around any other Star Wars fan quite easily at that point. But I'd only been into it for about 6 months to a year. So going back to Jacksepticeye, if this guy didn't get into it when it first came out, who fucking cares?
Who cares?
If he's like big on the lore, he knows the lore, he's played the games, there shouldn't really be a problem. Now, there could be an argument to be made of like I messaged you about it.
Yeah.
And there could be an argument of like, we've been wanting some Bloodborne fans have been starved for like so long now.
Yep.
So like it could be like, I wanted like an Alex Garland level producer, because
Alex Garland's doing Elden Ring, yeah.
He's directing Elden Ring. Was he directing or producing? He's doing both,
directing.
Right?
He's directing and writing.
Okay. But so like I think producer doesn't mean that much, but it depends already, I guess. But like, I think some people could make the valid argument of I wanted a professional film person on this, not like a new time film producer. So I can get that argument, but being pissed that he's like not new to the franchise, but hasn't been in the franchise as long as you, that's like, who gives a fuck?
It's like, because I've seen people say like, oh yeah, what about this Soulsborne YouTuber? What about this Dark Souls YouTuber that's made Bloodborne videos and Bloodborne theories for years and years? It's like, it's the one argument that is made. I think Cosmonaut said this, and I think the developer of Ultra Kill said this. It's a damn good thing the fans aren't making Ultra Kill, or else it would suck. Like, sometimes listening to Reddit is the worst thing ever. I can't remember which film it was, but I remember there was a take that he said, I think it was either No Way Home or it was another movie, but the director said, we took advice from Reddit to write some of the scenes and jokes in the movie.
I know what you're talking about, but
I can't remember what it was.
I'm gonna Google it. Keep talking.
Yeah. But like, I remember seeing that, and I remembered that was probably. I'm not gonna lie. When I read that article, like quote, I had to make sure it wasn't taken out of context. But seeing that they were using Reddit for like any form of like advice, I was like, oh my God, that's sacrilege. That's sacrilege, dude. Because I think the one annoying thing about Reddit and their advice for movies is that some of the advice just really, really sucks. I remember they were constantly telling the producers of Fast and Furious to name the 10th Fast and Furious movie like Fast 10 Your Seatbelts. And I was like, you know when you just feel just your bones just cringe at something so stupid, and the thing is, they weren't saying it as a joke. They were being really unironic about it. I'm like, it's a good thing you guys aren't film producers, or else the films would suck.
Yeah, like Reddit is not like Reddit's like I think Reddit as a platform is pretty bad. I use Reddit now and again. Like I don't think it's as bad as Twitter, but like taking advice from people on Reddit, like it's like when people try to write The Winds of Winter themselves, it's like, bro, just stop doing it. Just put that shit down, put it in the bag. Like, it's like, I get why fans would love to be involved in these things, and I think some fans should be involved in these things, but I think it's gonna sound weird, but I almost feel that someone who is like so hyper obsessed with lore, like I think that's like a difference, and I feel like you do need creatives, and I'm not necessarily even talking about Jacksepticeye here. I think you need creatives that have a respect and understanding and know the general gist of the lore, but also can come in with their own unique input into it. Because at the end of the day, like a big thing that frustrates me with like franchise films and like adaptations is like, from the fan end, people expect it to be one-to-one for the video game, and it's like, bro, just play the video game. Like, and I'm not saying, but a film as well, it should follow like there's like a structure, you know, and you can go off that structure. But like, it's like Halo, for example, completely butchered the structure, so that isn't even an issue of like it being slightly different. But there are examples of adaptations out there, which say like the Sonic 3 movie. I was kind of annoyed as like a real dedicated fan, but a lot of times I just say to myself, if you really care, just go play the game. But there was like clear it was based on the structure of Sonic Adventure 2 for the most part. And so I can respect that they did that. So as long as it remains loyal to the structure, I feel like that's fine. But then you have the movie that came out a year or two ago that was based on that horror game, and it was nothing to do with the original game. What was it? Until Dawn. Yeah. Am I right in saying that it was nothing to do with the
it was okay. So it was nothing to do with the game, like nothing to do, except they kept the actor that played the count, like the psychiatrist in the game. Then they had scenes from it. It was really weird because it was like, it was Until Dawn in everything. It was Until Dawn in all but name. It was just the name. Kind of, where it was like, oh yeah, they had that. You have to survive until dawn, and Peter Stormare in the movie, and then at the very end they had Easter eggs based on like, oh yeah, the cabin that you play in the game. But that's the thing about faithful adaptations, because you see this with books as well. Like I said, original point, Project Hail Mary, that is based on the book, and it was with people who loved the book. Like you had Lord and Millon directing, Drew Goddard writing, and Andy Weir's writing in a book is like, it's interesting. Like I think it's the same thing with The Martian by the same author, where the writer Drew Goddard loves that shit. He loves that shit. So he wrote it really well. Like you can see the adaptation from the book, because after I watched the movie, I read the book. Like I listened to the audiobook and I was like, wow, they really actually, as in, I think the movie heightens a lot of the stuff from the book as well, because it's nearly close to one how you'd imagine the thing to go. And that's the thing about creatives and working in the confines of, like, you know, games, movies and books and everything. I think it's also down to a studio thing, where studios won't take gambles on new original IPs. Like they won't do that. What writers tend to do is that they will write an original story and everything with like all these characters, all these fancy things happening, everything happening to these new characters. But when they ship it off to studios, the studios are like, I don't know whether we want to put 100 million into this. Would you mind like reshipping it into something else so we can make a film out of it? I think that's how you get things like Halo, or like you get things like The Witcher for some parts, and also things like Joker. Like with Joker, you can tell that one was basically just like, king of comedy, Taxi Driver, that kind of stuff. And you're like, oh, Warner Bros. Aren't going to take a gamble on that. But if we attach it to a very popular DC character like the Joker, it made $1 billion. It made $1 billion and everything. And then and Todd Phillips tried to do it again with the sequel.
The worst sequel ever. When I came out of the cinema then, and when I was watching it, I wasn't like disgusted. I was more just confused what I just seen. It was like such a weird experience, bro. I was like, what the fuck am I watching right now?
He flew too close to the sun.
It's like the thing about sniffing your own farts. I think it was definitely that, of where he was very much kind of thinking that he's like better than he actually was. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, sorry.
No, I was going to mention it's also studios being really stupid and giving him $250 million to work with, when the original Joker, Warner Bros. Were like, hey, we ain't giving you no money. You do this with 80 million and that's it. The fact that they gave him that much money, like, studios are stupid. So
I'm more confused to where that $250 million even went. You know what I mean? Like
the soundtrack.
What did they really?
It's a jukebox musical. You know how expensive it is to get the rights to some of the songs and everything? And not even just that. It's like, I think they paid Joaquin Phoenix and Todd Phillips and Lady Gaga so much money, like so much, just to be in the movie. I think, I think for a future episode, it's also something to probably mention about like the way money's going in the industry, because it's also going to lead into what we wanted to talk about today about studios being dumb. But like, it's just studios giving $250 million to a movie and most of it going to the actors. Does no one else just seem like that's just really, it's really disproportionate?
Yeah, no, genuinely. I'm looking at Todd Phillips' his IMDb right now. I completely forgot that he wrote and directed The Hangover Part 1, 2, and 3.
That was the thing. His big, like, The Hangover 1 made so much money and was so, I don't want to say revolutionary. It hit the comedy scene like crack when it first came out, the first Hangover.
$35 million budget, and it took back $500 million.
Which is crazy work. That is insanely good work. And the movie's very, very good. It's very, very good. And then he pissed it all away with the sequel. But that's the thing. It's like, it's studios giving a blank check to some. I think only a few directors deserve a blank check. I think like Nolan, Spielberg, maybe Tarantino, Villeneuve. Like a few directors like command a blank check to do whatever they want. But at the same time, I think it's just studios gamble way too much with way too much money, and we wonder why there's less movies. It's streaming services, and it's the fact that they just put too much money into things that just end up not doing well for the studio.
Yeah. I really wonder if we'll ever get a movie like Superbad again. Do you know what I mean? Like those like just classic comedy movies.
Like Judd Apatow comedies. Pretty much.
They just don't happen anymore. And if they do, I don't really see them. When was the last Superbad?
No, I wouldn't say Superbad necessarily, but like I think, okay, this is going to lead into the topic because I want to railroad into it, but there's one company that's actually trying with these comedies, and ironically enough, it's Paramount. Because,
Really?
yeah, they dropped The Naked Gun remake. They dropped The Naked Gun last year. They're dropping Scary Movie this year, and they also had Dungeons and Dragons a couple of years ago as well. But the thing is, Paramount, I mean, they do have comedy studio. They literally have Comedy Central. But that's the thing. It's like they're the only studio that I can recall that are trying to make this comedy thing work, because they have a streaming service that they have to put stuff on. I'm not gonna lie. We'll probably have another talk about this, but their streaming service is one of the shittiest services I've ever used.
So bad.
Paramount Plus, as in, I feel sorry for you guys who have to watch Champions League games on Paramount Plus, because my God, is that streaming service awful. Like, I think I hate the streaming service so much that I don't use it. I use it within Amazon Prime because I do not want to install that app. That app is terrible. It is terrible,
so
and it's an indictment on the studio as well, because did you speaking of Paramount Plus and something that's happened in the news, and one of the topics we're talking about today, Avatar. Now, before we continue, we're not going to talk about the content of it in detail, so you don't have to worry about being spoiled about the content of it, but it is a very big story, and I think we should probably address the fact that there was yet another leak at Paramount Studios, and it was the Avatar movie.
Yeah, I think I've spoken about, maybe not even the last episodes, about, I think because we mentioned maybe the Avatar movie because we spoke about adaptations. I've been like a massive fan of Avatar since it came out. I remember when the Boiling Rock, the special was coming out, part 1 and part 2. I remember when all the Seven Raiders special, and then obviously the part 4 special at the ending. Like, I remember when that was airing on Nickelodeon back in 2008.
Yep, Nicktoons,
like
bro.
yeah, like, dude, that was such a hype. That was my first ever hype season as a kid. That was like, this is like a big deal, and like it was so good, and I've loved Avatar like ever since. Like Legend of Korra I love, and that's a part of the rant about Nickelodeon and Paramount, because they fucked Legend of Korra.
They fucked that too, yeah.
Obviously the live action movie they fucked, and then they fucked another live action adaptation. It's like, this. They did. I think they did. I think
is that on Nickelodeon or is that more on Netflix because of the way Netflix?
It's both. Because at the end of the day, it's an IP given by Paramount to Netflix. Yeah,
Netflix. Yeah,
actually,
it was.
Why do Netflix have it if they own Paramount own it?
Okay, so around this time, they were trying to shop things around because Netflix are working on live action adaptations and they wanted to do it. Now, initially, the creators of the animated series, they had the control over the entire franchise and everything. So I think I remember during a conference, if I recall correctly, they announced they're working on another live action one and they're working on the movie, right? They were and a new series as well. They said, we are working on this, and they had their blessing and they were producing it. But then I think before the first season came out of the live action, they left. They left, and everyone was like, oh no, what's gone on? What's gone on here for them to leave? And then they dropped it, and it was...
I think it stunk. I did not like that. I didn't like it at all. I really didn't like it.
Not as bad as Shyamalan's, but it was...
It's not as bad, but it's still not good at all.
Yeah.
And it's... I mean, there needs to just be an acceptance that not every piece of animation needs to be live action because it doesn't translate half the time. It just... God, not everything needs to be turned into live action. But, like... They left to form Avatar Studios. I think his name is last name is DiMartino and Konitsko or something. I can't remember his last name, but DiMartino is the main guy. Well, they're both the main guys, to be fair. But and they went and made Avatar Studios as a way, I think, to kind of like have a bit of structure to the franchise, because I don't blame those guys. I blame their fucking corporate overlords. And now they're making an Earthbender show based on the next Avatar in the cycle, and that's already been leaked. That got leaked like 2 years ago. The entire plot got leaked.
Paramount security is shit. We'll get to that in a bit, but yeah, continue with the Avatar point.
So yeah, that got leaked, and I mean the actual. I'm not going to go through the leaks because I mean, for one, I don't want to get fucking sued or shut down, but also I don't want to spoil it for anyone. But the general leaks people weren't that receptive to it. I actually thought it was a cool idea. If you know, you know. Either way. They should, as artists, they should have the time to develop the story, because who knows, that leak may just be an old draft. But regardless, that got leaked. The mismanagement of the live action 1 and 2, The Legend of Korra. With the mismanagement of that show, there were 4 seasons, and for each season, they didn't know if there was going to be a next season. Season 1, 2, 3, they didn't know that there was going to be one coming after it, so they had to, like, with fucking strings, try and attach every single story together. And then these guys get shit because people are like, I don't like how not connected Legend of Korra is, and it's like, well, it's not their fault that they thought there was only going to be one season. Like, when the final I'm trying not to do too much spoilers here, but when a final villain falls in season 1, it's like, I think everybody acknowledged that final villain could have easily been like a 3-season story, because the actual story of it, of, you know, taking away people's bending, is a very compelling story. And I think season 1 is good. Like, it's just very rushed to when they get to the reveal, they get to like the resolution and stuff like that. And I think season 3 is very, very good. Season 2, I think everyone agrees, is stinky. Even though, weirdly enough, season 2 actually has some of the do you remember the 2-parter episodes about the origin of the Avatar?
I remember those.
That bangs, and that makes it worth it. But so like, I think the problem is like, I think the franchise has the potential to be generational, and it was at one point, and it has been at points of Legend of Korra. But it's just so fucking badly managed, mainly because in 2020, Netflix had Avatar put onto Netflix, and that made Avatar go more mainstream than ever, and it became such a melting pot of just like so much money potential there. So I think Paramount were like, we need to start making more of this, because like they were already making money off it, but they were like, we need to do more, pretty much.
I think that's the thing with Avatar as well, because Avatar was already one of the biggest things to come out of Nicktoons, barring SpongeBob. So it was like, when Avatar The Last Airbender, like when the show ended, they were like, let's try and make something out of it. I mean, they tried with M. Night Shyamalan and everyone hated it, but you can tell how vitriolic and how virulent the hatred was for that movie. You could tell how passionate people were for the art, like the art behind it and everything. So imagine now you have a new movie being made. It's a sequel movie to the series that everyone watched when they were a kid, and now everyone is older, and now they have kids to appreciate the series too.
Well, that's the thing with it going on to Netflix in 2020, because obviously the kids that saw it in 2008 grew up, and they still loved the franchise and still watched it, but there was a whole new generation of kids that were exposed to it, and they were even louder than the previous generation. They were making TikTok edits, they were making fan pages, fan art, fan stories, like they were doing it all, man. So it became massive again. So yeah, a sequel to The Last Airbender is the biggest thing they could possibly do. Yeah,
and also it was 2D animated as well. This could have been the defibrillator to be like, yes, we want to see more 2D animated movies in the cinemas, because since Disney kind of killed the concept with Princess and the Frog and Winnie the Pooh in 2009 and 2011 respectively, and those movies not doing well, Disney purposely did that to kind of take the whole concept of 2D animating in theaters, and they took it out back and shot it. So having this movie be a theatrical release would have been a complete game changer. This could have like helped the industry so hard.
I mean, literally, I think like the majority of 2D animation only really exists in anime now, really. I mean, there's cartoons, but even then they're not as big as what Avatar was or what cartoons used to be, you know? There's no... Sorry to interject. There's like, when we were kids, everything was 2D animated in terms of cartoons. Like there was 3D movies because of Pixar and stuff like that. And the removal of 2D from cinema had already happened as when we were kids, didn't it?
Yeah.
Because we were the generation that, it's actually in the 90s kids were the generation that first were getting those 3D movies. So the 2D kind of existed on TV alone, but even now, that's just been kind of wiped out.
Because it's like, it's difficult to get paid doing that kind of stuff, because 2D is a lot of work, and studios don't have the, studios don't really have the balls to do it, because like, think about, with this, The Last Airbender movie, the upcoming movie, right? This could have been like, old Paramount were like, we're going to release this in cinemas. We want people to watch this in cinemas, and I will not talk about the actual, the content of the plot, but from what people have told me and what people have said, they said this is one of the best and most well animated things they have seen. Because let's talk about 2D animation in general. With the exception of anime, what do we have right now? The only thing that's airing right now that I know is big and 2D animated is Invincible, and that's an adult animation, and people have a lot of things to say about the animation quality.
Because they don't get the budget to do good animation quality because they spend it all on voice actors, from what I've seen.
I mean, it's like, because Amazon have infinity money, and also, to be fair to Invincible as well, they are working with nearly hour-long episodes, which is unheard of for a 2D animation, right? Like, the episodes are an hour long, and and there's only 8 of them, and there's also every year as well, yeah?
To be honest, I didn't have a single issue with Invincible's animation. I didn't even know people did have an issue with it until I've started to see the tweets recently. Genuinely, I've not read the comics, so I think that's where a lot of people's issues come from, because they see the cool art in that. But like, I actually really like Invincible. I haven't seen the new season yet.
I like Invincible as well. I think that's but the thing is, as someone who's also wide into the animation, is that you can see it because the problems were in the first season as well, where you had like random 3D characters, random 3D renders, and then like PNGs flying after like the best like scenes of Sakuga. But the point is that 2D animation is kind of starving right now. We don't have to. We have to maybe 2D hybrid animations with 3D. I think with what Disney, what some Netflix stuff does. On YouTube,
I've got a list here. It says right now the top like 5 2D animated cartoons like coming out in 2026. Is Avatar: The Last Airbender #1? Yeah, that's the #1, and then it's the Superhero King X-Men 97, which is coming out on Disney Plus season 2 apparently. But it does also use some 3D technology.
It's 3D.
Yeah. So that doesn't really count. The adult comedy champion Smiling Friends.
Smiling Friends too, and that's ended. It ended literally a couple of days ago.
I don't know why it's giving me this like weird descriptive names of it. The Gritty Action Power, Invincible, and Batman Nightfall.
I mean, yeah, we mentioned that. And the thing is, most of these are adult, like the kids again. What are the youths getting? They're not getting much right now because.
Stranger Things Tales from '85. Ain't nobody. Come on. But I think that's 3D as well, no?
It's 3D. We don't have a full like 2D stuff other than because Smiling Friends was like the best example of like 2D cable TV animation, but it's adult. You don't really get like something like kids. The quality of Avatar for kids now, and I think that new movie would have helped a lot. And what the issue that I have is that Nickelodeon are the only studio that can technically, they have the power to do it, and the parent company were like, no. The parent company were like, no. And I really want to segue into this because the studio frustrates me a lot, genuinely. I think do you mind if I get into this, because this is like, it's like legitimately one of the for those guys who don't know, I was planning on making a full-on video about this, but I think you guys can get a preview as to what I want to talk about, because Paramount is the studio that frustrates me the most out of every studio. You know, you had the big 6 at one point where it was Paramount, Warner Bros, Fox, Disney, Universal, Sony. That was the big 6. That was, notice how some of these studios don't exist anymore. Like Fox doesn't exist anymore. And now Paramount are trying to merge with Warner Bros and everything. So it's like, you know, we're losing these big studios. Now with Paramount, you obviously had Nickelodeon, you had Comedy Central, you had MTV, you had BET, you had all of these channels within one organization, right? And they used to be one of the biggest organizations in the industry. Like Nickelodeon it was basically like, you know, Nickelodeon or Cartoon Network. That was the big thing back then, because people didn't really, I mean, Disney Channel was basically the live action stuff, with the exception of like, what Disney Channel animations were there like growing up apart from Phineas and Ferb?
There was fucking
Kim Possible,
the blue monster thing. What's it called? The little monster who lived in Hawaii.
And Lilo and Stitch.
Yeah, Lilo and Stitch. That's Disney, right?
Yeah, it's Disney. But I meant to say, but you didn't really get that. I think a lot of the serialized TV that was there, it was basically the Cartoon Network with like, you know, they had like, you know, Dexter's Lab, they had Ben 10, they had like
Cartoon Network was like unreal.
It was unreal. Growing up, it was absolutely unreal. Ed and Eddie, it was unreal. I mean, even in the 2010s, you had Gumball. Yeah, you had Gumball, you had Adventure Time, you had Regular Show, you Foster's Home for Imaginary Friends, you had all this stuff for like Cartoon Network, where like they had that versus Nickelodeon. I mean, Nickelodeon were the ones that took like Yu-Gi-Oh, for example. They had they had Yu-Gi-Oh, and then they also had had like SpongeBob, obviously,
Ooh,
and
there was who had Transformers?
Nickelodeon. They have the rights to
really?
yeah, so they literally were out here. They were on it. Like Nickelodeon had that as well. Obviously Avatar, The Last Airbender. They had Fairly Odd Parents. They had Danny Phantom. They were literally, it was like Nickelodeon versus Cartoon Network. It was like two big studios fighting each other because they had like the animation, right?
We literally did grow up in like the best possible era.
The best possible era for like animation.
We had the best video games. We had the best movies. We had the best TV shows. We had the best cartoons. Like literally, like if you were born between 1995 and 2003, you were set.
In the entertainment part, we were set. Everything else, though, I would be like, yeah, maybe. But in the entertainment part, I think that was also that's one of the golden ages of entertainment. If you were a child, I think it was one of the golden ages. It probably is the golden age.
Other than like the economic crisis and like, you know, if you ignore that shit, it's gonna sound already. No, I don't want to get. I don't want to get political.
All the
yeah. There was some bad stuff when we were kids, but like I didn't pay attention to it. So.
But yeah, so like exactly. So, but you were a kid, so we didn't pay attention to it. It was our parents that had to worry about that stuff. But the thing is, it's that Nickelodeon. It was huge. I mean, Comedy Central. They had all this stuff, and then you fast forward. Yeah.
I've just remembered one other 2D animated thing, which I can't believe we've forgotten about. South Park, Family Guy.
I was about to get to that. And also to a lesser extent, Simpsons with Fox. But that's the thing.
Futurama too.
And Futurama as well. But that's the thing though. Like, you think about like the animation and everything. Fast forward to nowadays. See, Paramount as a studio, they had a bunch of film IPs that made them lots of money. Michael Bay's Transformers. I know a lot of people have strong opinions about it. I do too. But there's one thing you can't deny about those movies. They made money. They made a lot of money. Like Transformers, I think Revenge of the Fallen is dog shit and nearly made $1 billion. Dark of the Moon made $1 billion.
Oh, Dark of the Moon cooks. I'm sorry, I don't care what anyone said.
I am not going to oh my God. I don't think a cinema experience can match watching Dark of the Moon for the first time.
Dark of the Moon was weird because I was like, we came off the shit than the previous movie, and then suddenly it is a pretty good, like an actual, in terms of like, I loved the Transformers. To be fair, I don't actually like the second Transformers movie even as a movie, but like as a Transformers movie, but like the first and third Transformers movies, I genuinely like, they're like actually good movies. Like,
they're bombastic cinema experiences. I fucking love them.
Yeah. They're like Avengers movies before the Avengers. You know what I mean?
And I was gonna get into that as well because Paramount, not only did they have Transformers, they had the MCU. They had the early MCU. If you notice the posters for Phase 1, a lot of the Phase 1 movies, they were all, with the exception of Hulk, they were all distributed by Paramount. And Paramount had the MCU. There is a parallel universe where Paramount did not sell the MCU to Disney. And I don't know. I don't know whether I want to be in that universe, considering what's happening now, even with the state of Marvel. I don't think I'd want to be in that universe. But the point is that Paramount had it all. They had animations. They had the live action stuff. They had horror because Paramount were the ones that distributed. They were the ones that distributed Paranormal Activity. Literally bought it. I think the movie's budget was like 20K. 30K, like a budget of a YouTube video and the movie, and it made nearly how much? I need to make sure because I know it made so much. Let me just check this Paranormal Activity.
Bro, whilst you're doing that, I'm just looking at the reviews for Transformers 1 and 2. Can you tell me why Revenge of the Fallen has a higher audience score than fucking Dark of the Moon? I'm not saying Dark of the Moon should be like a 99%, but like I'm actually quite angry by that.
I know why. I think it's because at the time, remember, I think Dark of the Moon also kind of paid for the sins of Revenge of the Fallen because everyone was like, that one was so bad, so they're already going in wanting to hate it. Because Revenge of the Fallen, it was like, oh my God, we got a sequel! And then the writer's strike happened. I think people give Revenge of the Fallen more grace because of the writer's strike and some of the individual set pieces just being so out there. But like Dark of the Moon, I could understand why.
I also think that people hate the third one because they think Megan Fox isn't in it anymore, and it's the terrible other girlfriend who like is the blonde woman. She's awful in it. Like she's British, I think.
I'm pretty sure.
And she sucked. They didn't have to keep on giving Sam Witwicky a hot girlfriend every single fucking movie.
I think but it's the Michael Bay special. It was the 2010s.
Yeah, just fucking perv on some random woman for a year of filming Michael Bay.
And make 1.1 billion dollars at the box office while doing so.
I mean, he cooked. Like, morals aside, he made a lot of money. That man. I mean, Transformers: Dark of the Moon. How much did that make? That made 1.1 billion.
Yeah, that matched like that was one of the biggest movies of that year. I think it was the biggest movie of that year, or was it the second biggest one?
The thing is with the Transformers movies is the box office goes up with the first three. Like the first one, let's see how much it made. Transformers 2007, that made 700 million. The next one makes 800 million, and the one after that makes $1 billion. Although I'm gonna make a prediction, the fourth one didn't make $1 billion.
No, it did. It did.
Did it?
It did.
Transformers movie, Age of Extinction. Age of Extinction is the first movie I've ever walked out of. Not because I was like, it's bad. I was like, this feels too boring.
It's too boring.
Oh my god, it made 1.1 billion.
But remember, wait. No. Okay, so what happened with the Age of Extinction? The Age of Extinction was absolutely abysmal dog shit, right? But people wanted to watch it because it was the next one. But because of it was so bad, when they did the last night was it was unwatchable garbage. That was
the one though. Sorry, that was the one with Anthony Hopkins, right?
Yes, yeah,
that was the one I walked out on. Sorry.
Yeah, the last night was abysmal dog shit. I think was it Age of Extinction or the last night that had the Romeo and Juliet thing, like the really noncy part.
Yeah, it was Age of Extinction, I think. Yeah, with the yeah.
Yeah,
if there's one thing to give that credit for, it does have that really, really fucking funny scene of when Anthony Hopkins just gets blown up.
Yeah, gets blown up. Anthony Hopkins was like, honestly, a saving grace. But also, if you look at the reviews as well, last night was the worst one. Like Age of Extinction, 18%. Last night, 16%. It was legit. I think the last night could not pay for the sins. It was that bad. Even the cinema score was lower than that, and that's the problem because that basically killed the franchise. Bumblebee is amazing, but it didn't make much. Transformers 1 is the best movie of the entire franchise, and it didn't make anything. I mean, Paramount, again, fucked up that marketing, which gets back to the original point.
The worst trailer ever. So bad. That trailer fucking sucked. I remember seeing that being like, what am I watching?
And that is the problem with Paramount. So Paramount had all of these franchises. Imagine all these IPs, Transformers. They had the MCU. They had like horror with like Jason Blum. They had Blumhouse. They had Paranormal Activity. It made 50. The budget of the movie was 15 grand, and then post production was like 200 grand. It made nearly 200 million. Imagine from a 15K budget making 200 million from it.
I think,
yeah, 194.2 million was the box office.
That movie was
fucking crazy.
Movie was peak. That movie was peak when it came out.
Exactly. Like, and also they tried to do, so Paramount tried to do it, and it was like when they were owned by Viacom, they had the absolute stupidest run of events ever. So they fired Jason Blum. And Jason Blum defects over to like, I think Warner Bros. And Universal. Blumhouse is with Universal now. You'll notice with the films that they're making. They sold the MCU off. I think the Avengers Assemble was the first thing that was like kind of joint between Paramount and Disney.
Yeah.
And Paramount had to finish their contract with Iron Man 3, which I'm going to say Iron Man 3 is amazing. I'm going to say right now, yeah, I think out of the three, my hottest take is that I enjoy Iron Man 3 more than 1.
Ooh,
that is a very hot take. Very hot take.
Well, Iron Man 1 is good, but the villain sucks, and the last half isn't.
I like Jeff Bridges. I'm gonna say
he's funny and it's memey, but he's not a good villain.
I don't know, but I think it's because it's the first one. I give it grace because it was the first one.
Yeah,
but I'm I think with Iron Man 3, I was like, I mean, there was some stupid stuff, but I just like Shane Black. I like Shane Black as a director. I like The Nice Guys. All right, I like The Nice Guys. You should watch it. But anyway, so after that was done, Paramount no longer have any money from MCU because Disney has it now. Jason Blum is gone. So Jason Blum is like making horror for other studios. What does Paramount have? We have Transformers. They coast along on Transformers until, Dark of the Moon. Because the problem is with Dark of the Moon is that it made a lot of money, but also people were like, ooh, the cracks are starting to show, guys. I think Age of Extinction is when the cracks like split wide open, like fully goat seed and everything. But like, I think Dark of the Moon was more like, ooh, some cracks are really starting to show. I don't think the audience is going to show up for anything Bayform. It's like, come on, we need to lock in. SpongeBob was in a bit of a flop era around that time. I know people say SpongeBob's back now, which I kind of get and everything, but like SpongeBob, yeah, they do. They do. I mean, they even make it another movie. They've made so many movies, but the problem with the SpongeBob franchise is that they can't make all the money from just SpongeBob, right? So they needed something, and Paramount had Tom Cruise with Mission Impossible. Mission Impossible was also a reliable moneymaker up until a point when they made Mission Impossible Fallout, which I think is one of the best action movies ever made. But the problem is that, again, nothing lasts forever. Paramount needs something to make money. And with all of this really bad managerial moves that they kept making and pushing a lot of filmmakers away, the only franchise I think right now that Paramount really have that's going to make them a lot of money is Sonic. Sonic is their right at this moment in time, Sonic is their biggest live action franchise because it's all they have. And it's not even really theirs. It belongs to Sega, an original film.
Yeah.
So Paramount have been gagging for it because Paramount, I don't know, have you watched, or heard of this movie called Monster Trucks?
I recognize it. I haven't seen it.
Monster Trucks is one of the worst movies ever made, right? And the only reason why Monster Trucks was a thing is because one of the executives at Paramount, their son wanted the movie to be made. Like I think their young son was like, let's make a movie about monster trucks that are actually monsters and stuff. And and Paramount were like, let's give a director a blank check. Let's make a Monster Trucks movie. Completely flopped to the box office. Completely flopped. Everyone hated it. Paramount kept doing this. They kept like throwing money at the worst things you're ever going to see, and they kept doing this until they were like, let's merge with CBS again, because there was a point where Viacom was too big. When the government actually decided to do their jobs, they split up Paramount into like Viacom and CBS. Viacom was like the company that beefed with YouTube, by the way. If you don't know, like they're the ones that beefed with YouTube Viacom, and everything. And they're very litigious as well. Like you'll see this on YouTube with like Paramount. I think Cosmonaut has this issue. A lot of film reviewers have issues with Paramount movies being reviewed on YouTube in general because Paramount are very litigious with YouTube uploads of their stuff. But to the original point, so they split, right? And then a couple of years later, they're like, wait, Disney gets to buy Fox. What the fuck? Why can't we just merge back? Disney's a huge company now. So they merged Viacom and CBS back together to make like Paramount. The company was just called Paramount. And the only problem with Paramount then is that they had nothing to make money with. Like they've got nothing. What franchises?
I've got the full list of franchises that they own. It's big franchises, I should say. Mission Impossible, Transformers,
which has ended, which mostly the last one flopped.
Star Trek. Every franchise they own is just a dead franchise. Star Trek, which
they killed it.
Yeah, they killed that big time, a long time ago, actually.
Well, I won't say a long time ago. They tried with the series, but that's another thing entirely. But yeah.
Sonic the Hedgehog is like their only good one. Actually, no, they own A Quiet Place that I didn't realize.
But when the next, it's in production limbo. The next movies are being made, but the last part 2 was made like 4 years ago.
No, they made
Day one,
which was partly filmed in my area. Actually, fun fact. They historically distributed Indiana Jones, but that isn't owning it. Lucasfilm owned that,
and Disney now distribute it.
Yeah. They own Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles,
apparently. Which good franchise, but doesn't make money. They don't have a big
The only people that watch that are like 40-year-olds. I'm sorry.
Whoa. I will say the new ones are good.
No. I'm not saying it's bad. I'm just saying like kids don't watch that anymore. How many kids know about Teenage Ninja Mutant Turtles, man? Realistic.
I mean, considering the amount of people on social media that are like, where's the R-rated one? Yeah, I kind of get your theory where it's like older people watch Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. But it's like, they try. But I will say, I'm not going to fault them. Paramount did try 3 times to reboot it. They rebooted it thrice.
But this is what I'm saying. Kids just don't care. Like, and adults can say they care, but at the end of the day, the biggest people who you want to attract to your things are unfortunately children. Because like,
I mean, Nickelodeon is the children's thing.
Yeah, well, yeah. So then the next ones is TMNT. They own G.I. Joe, Jack Ryan.
Flopped.
Yeah. These are things that nobody. Yeah, Jack Ryan, I've never even watched it. The Ring, which is over. So Paranormal Activity ended, but apparently James Wan is doing Paranormal Activity 8
remake
next year.
Yep, is that one. That's because they know they iced the franchise after the Ghost Dimension flopped, and then they did Next of Kin on Paramount Plus.
Yeah, I've never even heard of that until like a minute ago.
I watched it. It was all right. It was aight.
The worst one was the one where they were in like fucking. I think they were in like South America.
Whoa! The worst one, the marked ones I think is one of the best ones, mainly because the marked ones did their own thing. I think the Ghost Dimension and Paranormal Activity 4 are the worst ones. The Ghost Dimension was the one.
Is the Ghost Dimension where all I can remember is it's like a girl, and I remember like a garage or something like that.
I think okay, so Paranormal Activity 4 was the one where they had the family. 4's the one that the girl, like the garage, the connect scene, all that kind of stuff. That's in 4. That's 4.
Yeah. The last one I saw in cinema was the marked ones, and I didn't like it.
Which is understandable. The Ghost Dimension is really, really bad, though. I strongly suggest you watch it one time. It's probably the funniest found footage movie I've watched. It's so bad, dude. It's so bad. I kind of want to go back and watch them because, like, I haven't watched these. Like, the Paranormal Activity 3 was the first time I went to the cinema by myself, I think. And, like... Dude, watching 3 by yourself? Jeez.
No, sorry. I should say without parents. I think it's, like, the first time
That must be terrifying, dude.
Well, I was 14, so I was with a girl. So it was, like, my first ever, like, date. Mm-hmm. Well, whatever you can call a date at 14. So, yeah. I can't remember being too scared by it because I kind of grew up with horror films because my parents would always fucking have them on. And bit of lore about me was when I was like 7 years old, I had to be sent home from school because I was so tired because I was having nightmares about Pennywise. I'm not even joking.
Jeez.
Yeah, I used to be fucking petrified of clowns because my parents would constantly watch Stephen King movies, and one of the main ones they liked was the It TV
with
show.
Tim Curry.
Yeah. And I used to have nightmares about that shit all the time, man. Looking back on it now, I have no idea how I was scared of Tim Curry's It because it's genuinely hilarious. But like as a kid, it used to terrify me. So like any other horror film was fine. I didn't care about it.
Which I understand. But yeah, it's like with horror movies in general. Yeah, Paranormal Activity had The Ring, but Paramount had nothing. They got nothing. They had Tom Cruise and they lost him. So now the owner, the Redstones, were the owners of Paramount. They owned the parent company, which was National Amusements, which had Paramount on one side and Showcase Cinemas on the other side. Like they had Showcase Cinemas and a bunch of other stuff on the other side. Now, here's the problem. Paramount needed money and they wanted to be sold. And this is when the Ellisons, the billionaire family, the Ellisons come in.
They're Trump guys, right? They're the Trump family.
They're not the Trump family, but they're the buddies with Trump and everything. Because Larry Ellison, the dad, he owns Oracle. Oracle owns, Oracle's. David owns Skydance. Skydance was a production company that helped with Mission Impossible, but David always wanted to be a big-time film owner. Who was Megan, the daughter, she owned Annapurna, which is the game studio. They distributed Stray and a bunch of other games, I think 12 Minutes, all that kind of stuff. So family of multi-billionaires that own shit.
I know it's always been this way, but it is like really sad that like everything is just owned by the worst people on planet Earth. Do you know what I mean? Every franchise you like, it doesn't matter how much like good political messaging is in the franchise, how much like it like is like very like good.
How woke it is.
yeah, pretty much is what I'm trying to say. It's always going to be owned by literally a fucking demon. Like every single time.
Yeah. So the Ellisons come in and they're like, David Ellison's like, let's take over Paramount because Paramount need I can give Paramount like a stimmy check of money. I'm buds with Trump. Trump's going to let me do this kind of thing. So yeah, I mean, they just went and took over the whole of Paramount and they named it Paramount Skydance, right? And since then they started, apparently David Ellison's not doing a good job running the company, constantly skimping out on meetings. A lot of filmmakers have jumped ship from Paramount. I mean, Paramount used to have Taylor Sheridan. He was the writer of Sicario and had his entire, I think Yellowstone, all those kind of series on Paramount Plus. It's that kind of Western kind of series. Taylor Sheridan was there. He's fucked off. He fucked up. Really? He doesn't like David Ellison. Apparently, a lot of people have beef with David Ellison. It's a big problem in Paramount. And imagine now, David Ellison's like, we've got all of Paramount now. It's not enough. I want Warner Bros. Because On the other side of the story is Warner Bros. Warner Bros. Have a history of also being owned by the worst companies ever and killing them from the inside. Because I'll summarize this one a bit. Warner Bros. Were owned by Time Warner. Time Warner is a big conglomerate that owns like a lot of publications. Turner Broadcasting Company that owned a bunch of channels like Cartoon Network. What else do they have? Boomerang, Adult Swim, that entire thing. CNN. Basically all those kind of not Discovery, not yet, but like they owned a bunch of channels, right? And Warner Bros. Were initially owned by AOL. In the early in the late 90s, you'll notice this when you look at intros of the movies. I always say pay attention to what company it says it's a part of, because in the 90s they said AOL Time Warner, and AOL used to be one of the biggest companies in America. This is the advent of the internet. Yeah, I mean they did, because when the timing of it was AOL had Time Warner, then the .com bubble burst. It burst, and that kind of killed the deal. Like AOL basically got murdered by that, and they split off Time Warner. Time Warner was independent for about a decade, and then AT&T come in and buy the whole company. And AT&T are like, we're a telecommunications company. We have lots of money. We can run Warner Bros. And they they ran Warner Bros. Into the ground. I mean, that was around the time when lockdown hit, and they needed a streaming service. HBO Max happened. They killed Rooster Teeth. They killed they basically just murdered the company because they didn't know how to run a studio. You know how hard it is to run a studio? It's really hard to run a studio. And AT&T learned it the hard way. So then they were like, we need to sell this company. So AT&T were like, oh, we need buyers. Can someone please buy Warner Bros. From us? And that's when David Zaslav arrives with Discovery. That is when David Zaslav is like, hey, let me take the company. And here's the issue with Warner Bros. Warner Bros. Have $90 billion of debt. They've had $90 billion of debt for over 2 decades now. 2 decades, and no company has been able to pay off this debt. David Zaslav was like, I will be the one to pay off this debt. I will be the one to shoulder it. So Discovery and Warner Bros. Merged together, and Warner Bros. Are like, we still got this debt. We need to start cutting things. So laying people off, cutting movies off, tax write-off movies, like that Acme movie with that was initially, it was going to be a tax write-off before it was saved by the audience, and Warner Bros. Said, we'll sell it. Like, initially it was going to be a tax write-off. The Batgirl movie, tax write-off.
The Batgirl movie never came out.
There was so many that never came out, and it's never going to come out. There were so many things they had to sell because David Zaslav's job, everyone's saying, oh, he's a bad CEO. Unfortunately, I'm going to burst your bubble here, and this might seem controversial. He was a good CEO because he had one job and one job only. Downsize Warner Bros. Enough so that they can sell it. So he had to do all of this stuff. I mean, he did fund Sinners and Weapons. He did have faith in stuff like a Minecraft movie, which made them money. He did a bunch of stuff, like he did a bunch of good, right, in terms of like the quality of the movies. But at the same time, the issue was that they needed to make money. He's the one that got James Gunn to run the DC cinematic universe.
I think what I find out of all of the film companies, that even though they get a lot of criticism, I do find it quite impressive that Netflix don't have theme parks, physical locations, physical stores, or anything like that, but they are one of the least in debt in comparison to Comcast.
Because it's so big. They're so fucking massive. Big. Like people talk about Netflix. Netflix is huge. Like Netflix, it's also, I think they have the benefit of being first. They were first and they were the best. They're still the best. Even with the price increases, they're still the best.
100%. And I think HBO Max as a streaming service can rival them if they get their shit together on a lot of things. But like, but looking at the debt, like Netflix is $14 billion in debt, and that's apparently just generally accepted as like decent because it's just like you're buying things, you're selling things, you're producing things.
You're producing movies and everything, yeah.
Yeah. Whereas apparently, so the Walt Disney Company are $46 billion in debt, but apparently a large portion of that only comes from them buying Fox for $70 billion.
Yep.
And then Comcast, however, are basically $100 billion in debt.
But it's because Comcast is a telecommunications company, so it's like
broadband,
Comcast owns Sky as well, so they have to like they bought Sky because people talk about Disney buying Fox as if Disney were the ones that wanted to eat Fox and everything. No,
Comcast originally.
No, not even just that. Comcast and Disney were both in the running, but Fox wanted to be sold.
Yeah,
Rupert Murdoch was like, I don't fucking care about this. I want Fox News. He literally was like, Fox News is the prized possession. Everything else can get fucked. So so Comcast were like, we'll give you $80 billion cash straight up, I think. And Disney were like, I think it was 70 billion, but you also get stock. 71, but you also get stock options, I think. They took Disney instead because they were like, that sounds like a better deal.
And fuck for that, because we're getting an X-Men movie.
I mean, that's what Reddit were like. They were like, oh my god, we're getting X-Men. But I was like, we're also getting less studio. Because notice then...
You can start on.
No, I was like, notice since then, not many, but Fox used to be a studio making movies that Fox make. Now Disney are doing it. It's like, you kind of get fuck all. We're getting less movies now.
Because it has to fit into their timeline, right? Like, that's why. Whereas, like... As much as the movies are really bad, I do find it funny that Sony just fucking throw out the most random Spider-Man villain movies you've ever seen. Like, they don't give a fuck about Disney. They're like, yeah, you can have Spider-Man, give us the cash, go play with him. We're just going to throw out a load of shit and probably annoy you because people are going to think it's attached to the MCU or some shit like that. Yeah. And I find that hilarious.
Yeah, I think so. But the thing is, I think it's because Sony know that Spider-Man's their big... Spider-Man is it's the moneymaker for Sony. Think about Sony's... Apart from anime, which Sony owns pretty much most of, so it's in the West...
Funimation, right?
They own Crunchyroll. They own Crunchyroll and Funimation. Crunchyroll used to be with Warner Bros, actually. And Warner Bros... When AT&T had enough, they were like, let's sell Crunchyroll and Funimation.
Owning Crunchyroll, they must have like, because there was obviously the great shift in like 2020 when anime became so mainstream in like the West. So like Sony must be like licking their lips that they own Crunchyroll because like,
I mean, they had Infinity Stones of anime because Sony already... Remember, Sony Music, Sony in Japan, they own anime already. Sony already had Aniplex, which basically had all of anime. Sony owned the Fates franchise, Fate Grand Order. Sony are the anime company. 99.9% of anime distribution was handled by Sony. Maybe Warner Bros. Had a couple like JoJo and Berserk and all that kind of stuff, but Sony and Sony Japan with their music label, they own all the shit. So imagine them having Crunchyroll and Funimation, literally collecting them like Infinity Stones.
100%. I do think Netflix... I think companies like outside of Sony in the West are trying to get into anime because they've seen how mainstream it is now. Like you're seeing Netflix are doing a One Piece remake of like the actual anime because Wit Studios is doing it. I'm pretty sure.
Yep. And that's the thing. It's I think it's... Again, it loops back to the original point that I was making about Warner Bros. And Paramount and everything. If we put into perspective, Disney don't just make money from their movies. Disney have the parks. Disney have the parks. That mean people think, oh yeah, Disney are definitely gonna die this time with this movie flopping. Nope, they have the parks.
And there's, sorry to interject, but there's also talk that they may buy Epic Games in the future.
Yeah, like, there's talks about that as well.
Them two already are like fucking intertwined. Like everyone if you think Disney, a part of me thinks Fortnite because of all the collaborations that they've done.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah,
and if they get Fortnite, they own the children of the world. That's probably bad given all the shit for last year.
I mean, I know, but but they do. But that's the thing, they do. Disney, because the thing is, Disney, they've been recently laying off loads of people, and they've also been silently delisting a lot of their games from Steam. Very like as recently as like 4 days ago, they delisted a bunch of movie tie-in games and everything. Because at one point, Disney killed all of their game studios. Because they were like, games. We'll sell our IP to other people to make games. They sold the Star Wars IP to EA.
Do you think that, talking of video games, Warner Bros. Being sold, who are they being sold to then? Paramount. To Paramount, yeah.
That's what I was going to say before you ask your question. Well, we'll ask your question first and we'll get to that, but yeah.
I was going to say, do you think they're actually going to do something with the Nemesis system?
They already did.
No. Like, I know they've done the Nemesis system for Shadow of War, but the Nemesis system hasn't been put into a game since Shadow of War, and that's something because they have the patent for it, so no one else can use it.
I think the patent's expired, but also the fact that the Nemesis system is not really that deep as well. Other studios can do it. It's just I think the application of the Nemesis system is what, like, specifically calling it Nemesis system and everything.
It says here it's patented until 2036.
Yeah, but I think it's because you can use that kind of thing, but I think it's the specific application of the Nemesis system in that specific way. Because people think patents are like, oh, you can never do this away. Trust me, game studios, if they can find a loophole, they will find a loophole. The reason why no one's done it is because no one's had a reason to.
They should. It's a fucking great system.
It's a great system, but no one's really had a reason to just go in and be like, oh, I'm going to use a Nemesis system. No one's really done that. But that is now, I think, yeah. Let me get back to the Paramount point real quick, because this is also important. Warner Bros. Have this much debt. Discovery was out here trying to shave it off, like, as much as they could. And now came the time where Warner Bros. Were like, hey, we want to sell. Does anyone want us? They're like, does anyone want us? Because the plan was, David Zaslav's original plan was, well, we'll split the film studios and then we'll split the cable channels. So the cable channels will get all the debt and will be owned by someone. And then the film studio will get none of the debt and be owned by someone so that they can keep making money. But Paramount came in and were like, we want it all. We want all of it. Give us the whole company. And the thing is, everyone was like, I think Warner Bros. At the time were like, oh yeah, okay, we'll take the deal. I mean, you are offering us a couple of billion. This is pretty good. We can get some negotiations going and everything. Netflix come in and be like, fuck all that. Here's like, I can't remember how much it was. It was a couple, I think 91 billion, I think. It was like, here's 91 billion. We want the whole thing. Let me take the company. And Warner Bros. Were like, fuck yeah, we'll take it. Yeah, Netflix. And that's, Netflix made the statement. We were already saying, yeah, Netflix will be getting it. Of course, everyone was like, no, Netflix hates cinemas. Cinemas are gonna die. I mean, that was a very real and very justified fear, because Netflix have very much been anti-cinema since the very beginning. Like, Netflix is the biggest obstacle to cinema is Netflix. And Netflix and the consequences have kind of killed cinema, because we used to have a division where it was like movie in cinema, movie in Blu-ray and DVD, and premium file formats, then movie on streaming service or syndicated on TV. Streaming service is completely deleted, like a lot of the pipeline, where it's just like cinemas, then streaming service, or just straight up on the streaming service, like as a streaming service original. So having that happen with Netflix, everyone was like, oh no, Warner Bros., the cinema studio, are getting taken by the streaming studio. Cinemas are dead. Which, I mean, the CEO was trying to reassure everyone, and it was like, no, this would never happen. This would never, ever happen. But then Paramount kept, oh my God. Did you see all the articles as it was happening? Like, Paramount constantly trying to beg Warner Bros. To take our deal instead, taking money from the Saudis, taking money from like all these billionaires, like taking shareholders of Warner Bros. To dinner and talking them, be like,
didn't Trump have an input on it or something?
Trump had an input on it. Well, initially, because it was like, why is Warner Bros. Going into this woke company? But the thing is, the Ellisons tried to call Trump, saying like, oh, this isn't constitutional, and Trump was like, you lot are fucking weirdos. Like, even Trump was like, you lot are annoying. So they kept doing this. They were doing everything except upping their deal, because everyone knew that all Paramount technically had to do was just up their deal better than Netflix's, and Netflix and Warner Bros. Would have taken it, but they kept not doing that. They kept trying to do dirty tactics until they finally were like, fuck it, we'll up the deal. And Warner Bros. Took that deal instead of Netflix. And Netflix initially were like, you know what? There's no point in offering more, because you can see Paramount don't know how to run their company. You know, this entire podcast, like, we've talked about Paramount's mismanagement and everything.
We'll buy you guys in 10 years anyway.
Yeah, exactly. That's exactly. We'll buy you guys in, like, not even 10 years. We'll buy you guys in 5 years for less.
Yeah.
We're like, we'll buy both of you guys.
And then it just becomes Disney versus Netflix at that point.
Yeah, exactly. Point. So, like, Netflix knew saying, like, oh yeah, 91. And the thing is, Paramount even said, we're going to pay Netflix $3 billion to, you know, void their deal. And Netflix basically got $3 billion for free.
Fair
like,
play.
They said, okay, all right, give us $3 billion. So out this whole fiasco, Netflix comes in $3 billion richer, and now Paramount have to now go through all of the regulatory things. They have to go through the money. It
might not even go through. That's the thing,
go through because this is stupid because there's already laws in place to prevent one company from owning this much. Because people thought Disney were big and buying Fox is a mistake, but at the same time,
Microsoft.
Yeah, Microsoft and Activision. But the thing is, Disney aren't as big as Comcast. It would be, I think, it would be down to more scrutiny if Comcast owned Fox because of Comcast having a telecommunications and having NBC. Owning NBC and Fox, you can't do that. That's why when Fox got sold to Disney, the TV channels had to be split off because Disney already owned ABC. Disney can't have ABC and Fox. They can't. So with this Paramount Warner Bros. Thing, Paramount having CBS, CBS Sports, CBS News, then also having CNN and Turner Classic Movie, no, you can't do that. The government, well, I don't know about the American government, it's probably going to be a crock of shite, but the UK government are looking into it now saying that
it's usually the UK and the EU who fuck these deals, especially the EU. The EU almost fucked Activision and Microsoft's deal.
And it's annoying. It's annoying that they fumbled that though. It's annoying they did fumble that because their argument was stupid.
Microsoft also basically lied. Microsoft was speaking about similar things. I'm pretty sure they were like, oh, we're going to bring so much onto the Switch, onto PlayStation. And they brought a few things onto PlayStation. The Switch, however, has got fuck all. I was under the impression that the Switch was getting Call of Duty, Halo, maybe even some Game Pass stuff. None of that's happened. I don't know if that's going to happen in the next few years, maybe under the new leadership.
With the new CEO, but that's the thing though. It's Microsoft just can't. I think that with the Microsoft thing, the argument of the EU and the UK was about the cloud service thing and Sony, when they could have just said Microsoft already owned too much. You own Bethesda. Have you done anything with Bethesda yet?
Not they've done nothing with it and they've fucked it basically. But also Microsoft in that whole thing were trying to position themselves as the innocent, we're just trying to fight the other companies, and it's you are the company.
You are the company, bro.
You're this is the thing. Sony obviously have a lot of industry, but primarily some of their biggest, some of the biggest thing to make them money is PlayStation. Whereas and Nintendo, it's all just video games and a part here and there.
But Nintendo's video games. It's video games.
Yeah, it's video games. Whereas Microsoft is Xbox is this little thing that they play with now and again. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
they don't give a fuck. I know the new CEO, well, not the new. He's been a CEO for Microsoft for a while. I can't remember his name.
Satya Nadella.
Yeah, sometimes, with him and Ashish Sharma coming in, he's been a bit more involved, naturally so, with the new CEO. But it doesn't. If Xbox dies, they never make another Xbox. They never make another game.
I mean, they already are kind of doing that. But that's the thing. They already are kind of doing that.
She's doing an okay job so far. But I think people are going a bit overboard because when Phil Spencer took over that moron in 2014,
Don Matrick.
Don Matrick. When he took over, it was so bad that you almost are guaranteed to do positive. And when he took over, it was wow, this guy is fucking cooking. And with Ashish Sharma now, she's saying all the right things. There's the rumors that in this summer that backwards compatibility is going to come onto the PC version of Game Pass, which would be amazing.
Yeah,
I'd love to be able to play Fable 2 on my PC at 4K. That would be great. So that's cool. They've brought in new achievement stuff and stuff like that. That's cool, but it's very easy to those first few months.
It's always the honeymoon period. It's like a football player, if it's like a new manager bounce when the team gets a new manager and it's oh my god, things are changing, but it's going to get back to normal. But that's the thing with Microsoft. With the Microsoft deal, before we get back to Paramount, the Microsoft deal, they didn't give a shit about Xbox because they had all this other thing like Azure and Copilot, all that kind of stuff. But not Copilot, Azure, all this other thing. But 69 billion. That's when Microsoft were you fucking dickheads, you bet Xbox division better fucking make some money. $69 billion, that's crazy to acquire. I think 69 billion, Mojang 2.4 billion, Bethesda 8 billion. You spent nearly Skype. You spent nearly close to 80 to 90 billion on game acquisitions. We better see something to show for it, and they didn't. The same thing with Paramount. Paramount were 90 billion, and now, with Paramount having shit security, with the Avatar leaks, Avatar's not the first. It's not the first thing that's happened with it. Yeah.
It's funny you mentioned security. I've been waiting to say it.
Yeah.
But Paramount have just come out and said that they believe that the issue with Avatar getting leaked is not related to security. So they think that someone inside their studio like an actual person that
But
works on it.
That's a scapegoats. They know because Paramount. Because normally, okay, so with Paramount, this is David Ellison. He doesn't know how to say shit. He's a terrible like the owner. He'll always say something that would like justify them doing this. The reason why they're doing the people had this theory on Twitter when the Avatar movie got leaked. They knew that Paramount would be like, oh, it was someone from the inside. This gives us the justification to shelve Avatar Studios, because remember,
that's what they're trying to do, isn't it?
Avatar Studios, like the movie was supposed to be theatrical. Then when David Ellison came in, which is where the story was leading, when Ellison came in and took over all of Paramount, he was like, fuck that, we're putting it on Paramount Plus. Why? It was going to be in theaters, and now they're just dumping it on a streaming service in October. And it was like, why? We had this. We had everything going for us, and it's gone now. So I'm pretty sure this is just an excuse. This is an excuse for them to go out of their way to like to kill Avatar Studios, because now they're going to be like, oh, it was someone from the inside. But the thing is, the security's terrible, because you know they leaked 3 SpongeBob movies got leaked several months before they got released from Paramount.
Apparently, this is the 4th full movie leak they've had. Apparently.
Full movie, not even just like, oh, it was just like a tiny bit. No, full movie. You know how crazy that is? A full movie to leak like that online.
How does that even happen? Can you imagine if like Avengers fucking Doomsday leaked the entire movie? How is that even, like, realistically, how, I get a few clips, like, do you remember when Spider-Man No Way Home leaked, and there's a few clips here and there?
But that's a few clips here and there, and it's Sony.
Yeah, from a trailer or something. An entire, how does one get the file? How's that not unlocked? You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's what I mean. If it was in theaters, you know what's funny? If it was in theaters, if it was a theatrical release, it would be unlocked, because there would be no digital file. Because you know when cinemas get a cinema package, they get like the DCP of a movie. You can't just leak that.
That guy that leaked that, he's going to get killed.
But that's the thing, though. It was a hacker group. Like the person who tweeted it out. Like the thing when they said, "Oh yeah, Nickelodeon just emailed it." That's just bait. That was just bait, because people thought that was real. I'm like, no, Nickelodeon. Like they might be stupid, but they're not that stupid. They're not that stupid. It was a hacker group, because the hacker group watermarked all the clips, and it's already all over 4chan. So it's like, it's already like Paramount had dog shit security.
4chan?
Yeah, the whole thing's on 4chan. Whole thing.
That's utterly fucking hilarious.
In HD. It's not a cam rip. It wasn't someone recording from the cameras. It's HD.
I've been trying so hard to not watch it, because I want to watch it when it comes out properly. But it's almost at this point, it's like, what's the point? But like, I had one clip. I had one, not clip, but I had one picture, a screenshot put on my Twitter timeline. I'm like, this looks so fucking good. Fuck! I've seen it. This is the thing. This is the thing as well. It's like, it's not like it comes out next week. It comes out in like 4 months or something.
Dude.
So 6 months. How does a full movie? Also, if it's 6 months away and it is already fully done, why is it coming out in October? I guess because release times and marketing.
To be fair, release times and marketing.
But like, how much can you market a fucking streaming movie? You know?
Well, now, well, it's a streaming. It used to be. It was going to be theatrical. It was going to be theatrical.
I mean, surely at this point, you do just release it, and obviously they're not going to. But like, logically, they could make a bit of money off it if it was in cinemas now, because they're not going to make any money off it now. Do you know what I mean? If it's already fully online, no one's buying Paramount.
But then again, I don't think people are going to be that terminally online to like do it. If they release, I do think it will make money if they release it in theaters, because by October, even if people say they leaked it, people leaked the entire last act of Avengers Endgame like a week and a half before the movie released. There were so many clips on Avengers Endgame being put on, online. And it still made $1 billion in one weekend. People will go if the hype is there. But that's the thing, Paramount are so shit at that job that it really mugs me off that, like, this is the company that's going to have Warner Bros. Imagine if the Superman sequel leaked like this.
Harry Potter season 1's going to leak.
Imagine, I mean, okay.
Good way to watch. I'd watch the leak of that.
I'd definitely watch the leak of that. I mean, that's the thing though. It's like,
you don't give your money then, do you?
Yeah, exactly. And also, the fucked up part about all this is with that. People thought that this purchase of Warner Bros. Wasn't politically motivated, but when Stephen Colbert made a quip about Paramount being in bed with Trump during this deal, suddenly his show that's been on CBS for like a decade.
He's like the guy, Stephen Colbert. Like, that's the guy. Everyone knows Stephen Colbert.
Suddenly, Paramount are like, we're out of money, dude. You're not getting your show anymore. Did they not see the optics of that? Like, after Stephen Colbert calls it out, he gets axed.
It's fucking crazy. That country is such a mess. Like, it's crazy how intertwined the government is with media. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, and it's scary as well, because remember South Park for the first time. So Paramount had South Park, right? But their deal was really weird.
Who has that? Is it HBO that has South Park now?
That one's complicated. So
they made so much money.
South Park stopped their season structure after, I can't remember which season it was, but they stopped their season structure because they had the deal that their seasons go on HBO, like on the streaming service, right? They had their seasons go on HBO instead of Paramount Plus when it launched. So Paramount had a loophole behind this. Instead of a season of South Park, we're going to do specials instead. Remember that stint during lockdown all the way up until 2023, 2024, where it was specials?
Yeah, I wasn't a fan of the specials.
Yeah, but that's the thing though. Paramount did that so that they could keep South Park on their streaming service and have new content on the Comedy Central. That is exactly why, because they were like, hey, we don't want to give Warner Bros our money. I mean, we don't want to give them money for having South Park. So they stopped working on seasons. Also because I think Parker and Stone were kind of overworked. So they were like, we ain't doing this. When the new deal went through and they got the rights back, Paramount, with their infinite wisdom, gave South Park, I think it was like 100 million? I think 100 and something million for seasons of TV. And the first episode back, they talk shit.
Yeah, it was the streaming wars, right?
Yeah, no, not streaming wars. It was Sermon on the Mount. The first episode of the new season of South Park, after all this happened, was it coincided with the Colbert thing.
Yeah.
Oh, and that's when that episode Sermon on the Mount happened. That's when they were talking shit about Trump. That's the one where they had like Jesus come on the mountain and just be like, I can't talk shit, but we're owned by this company. If I say anything about this deal, we might get axed. But that's the thing though. South Park could take the money and run because they took the money and run. It's in their contract. They have the money now, and now you have to Paramount have to broadcast this episode talking shit.
In the last 5 years, since 2019, they have made from their multiple deals from multiple companies $2.5 billion.
Yep.
That is crazy.
They've made out like a complete bandit because Paramount are terrible with their money. They did this and they were like, oh, surely this won't backfire on us. I remember there was a whole bit in the TV series Nathan For You about how Paramount's basically the Nazis. It was so funny, dude. But that's the thing. People hate Paramount. Paramount used to be the man. They used to be the studio that would be like, hey, we got a studio, we got Nickelodeon, we got Jimmy Neutron, we got Fairly Odd Parents, we got all this kind of stuff. We got SpongeBob, we got Paw Patrol. It was basically had all this stuff, and everyone was like, Paramount was a studio that people were like, yeah, all right, it's a Paramount movie. We like it. But now you think of Paramount, and I mean, people who are more online or more attuned to everything, they just wrinkle their nose in disgust because they're like, this is this company owned by these people that are flaunting their money around the place and not even running the company well. Tom Cruise ran to Warner Bros. And Universal. Jordan Peele took a Universal deal. Everyone's moving away from Paramount because it's just run so terribly. And that's the issue. Like, what franchises do they have now? That's why you see, with the new owners, people are even wary about Sonic 4. People are wary. While the Sonic movies are okay, they're fairly hype and everything. Now people who are more online, which are the Sonic fans, they're like, they don't know whether they can support it because it's being distributed and produced by a studio that is very... I don't know how else to put it other than just very chuddy studio. It's a chuddy studio now.
Yeah, Dr. Robotnik is going to destroy Green Hill Zone. He's going to shout "Make America Great Again" when he does it.
He's going to destroy. He's going to be like, "Oh yeah, the Green Hill Zone was promised to me 3,000 years ago." You see people constantly talk about that, and that's the problem. It's like Paramount used to be the studio, he
was just defending himself against the hedgehog, man. Come on, it's self-defense.
It's just self-defense, man. They have so many nukes on them, dude. I mean, they literally have all the Chaos Emeralds are with them, and they're saying that they don't have it. They've been in deals with other studios.
How much? Let's be real. Like, how powerful is a Chaos Emerald in comparison to a nuclear bomb? Like, they've got to do something about it. And the Master Emerald as well. You know.
Yeah, we got to do something about it. Like, you can tell that it's just gonna take 2 weeks. It's only gonna take 2 weeks, man. But that's the thing. That's the reputation that they kind of have now. Like, they've been axing so many shows, so many things now. Like, think about Paramount now. This company is going to own one. Well, I mean, subject to regulatory approval. But can you imagine the fact that this company is going to own Warner Bros? We're going to lose another big company in the film industry to these guys. And the thing is, we're constantly saying this, and I'm like, well, the likelihood of us getting invited to premiere is going down. But
it's gone down and down and down.
Yeah, but that's the thing that I think, some things have to be said about the states of these companies, because I'm not saying I want this company to die or anything. I'm saying that it's not run well. It's not run like a company that you'd want to see movies from. Like, I appreciate them funding things like the Smile horror movies and some of the other stuff. Like, Paramount are trying.
Smile 2 is one of my favorite horror movies.
Oh, Smile 2. I think they fucked with the marketing of Smile so bad that I thought the movie was going to be shit. So when the reviews came out and they said this movie is really good, I was like, oh,
Smile 2.
Yeah, Smile 2. Mm-hmm. But with Smile 2, I was like, I knew what I was getting into.
Yeah, I thought those movies are going to be like gimmicks and just like get boring after like 20 minutes. But like, no, Smile 2 in particular is like genuinely one of like the best horrors of the last like 10 years. That movie.
Yeah, it's really, really good. And that's the thing, Paramount, and that was Paramount's, call. That was Paramount's call. They gave Parker Finn saying, hey, go make a movie with us. And they was like, yeah, let's do it. And it worked. I really like the Smile movies. I mean, there's movies coming out like Passenger. There's like, I don't know. It's just Paramount have some good stuff among them, but it's just in like an entire mountain of compost and stuff like that, dude. Like an entire mountain of compost and everything. And it's sad. It's kind of sad because it's so weird to see a company that used to be so big fall so much in terms of just like everything, really. I mean, Star Trek, they killed so many Star Trek series. I mean, the movies, they murdered the movies after, and this is after they made one of the best movies in the whole franchise. Beyond is so damn good. Star Trek Beyond is very, very good. And they killed it. I mean, they refused to pay, I think, Chris Pine or anything. None of this. I mean, there was a tragedy of Anton Yelchin dying, but also just the fact that they didn't want to pay and they left the movie in limbo.
It's just like a victim of corporate greed, isn't it? Like,
yeah.
Same for the other companies, but them in particular, like right now at least, like they're the ones that everyone's focusing on, obviously because they're buying Warner Bros. And it just makes you think like no one gave a fuck about Paramount up until now, because obviously like a lot of the franchise you just kind of accepted are dead, whereas Warner Bros. Own so many beloved franchises, so it's gonna be like, well, if they're getting control of them, and Warner Bros. Are already a mess. Mm-hmm. Can it get messier is the final question.
Yeah, and that's the thing. I think that the reason why people are aware of Paramount now is because Paramount were kind of just like the irrelevant company that had some money and they made some movies. Some of them are bad, but no one really thought about it. But the fact that Paramount are now being put in the epicenter of this culture war thing, it's like when it got bought by the Ellisons and Paramount just got completely flung right into like they're the epicenter of everything. Like you can tell this is a big company that's directly got a direct line to the administration. It's like the Boys was like when he bought the Boys was satirical about it, and now it's like, wait, this really is happening. Like it's so weird.
Yeah, it's fucking crazy to think about. Like, the Boys is like satire has gradually, but it's almost hard to watch now because a lot of it is just real life.
Yep, and it's like the ones where you're like, oh, I mean, and it's it's constantly thinking about it. Like, you know what? I strongly implore you guys, if you're all listening to this podcast and everything, we did the really abridged version, but I'm not gonna lie, you guys need to read the article about Paramount. They even have an entire graph of the timeline of Paramount because so much shit has happened to that company since like 1980. Well, since 1886 when it was initially like, even thoughts of being founded. It's like this company is so cursed. We haven't even scratch like, you know, the full iceberg. It's so scuffed, dude. Like, I think about it, I'm like, man, I used to grow up with Nickelodeon so much, and now you think about it, Nickelodeon and Cartoon Network being in the same. Remember that advertisement where it had like the Cartoon Network characters like Double D and Johnny Bravo on Nickelodeon saying we're on the wrong channel, you probably should go to Cartoon Network instead of Nickelodeon. And now they're going to be a part of the same company.
Yeah,
Like,
it's crazy, man. Actually crazy. And you like a few years, like when you were a kid, that would be like a dream idea, but now it's just a fucking nightmare.
yeah, we're adults now. We're just looking at it and we're like, oh. We're like, oh. This is, but I think it's also because we're adults as well. Like, kids nowadays, they'll be like, oh, your favorite series is getting crossover and everything. But the fact that they're just kind of killing all of the channels, like they killed them. Did you know they killed MTV?
Yes.
MTV is dead. Like, MTV as a TV channel is dead.
It's just online now, right?
That's crazy. MTV used to be, I mean, to be fair, it's also partially not their fault. Most people watch YouTube, like music videos on YouTube. And Spotify's kind of killed it. But like, it's also killing MTV like that. Oh, wow.
Yeah, genuinely crazy. I'm surprised Comedy Central's still going.
I mean, South Park is, I mean, to be fair, they did put money in South Park and everything. So it's like, it's a bit mental. But I think it's been about hour and 45. I think we could probably, we can wrap up because this is very good.
Covered everything. Yeah, 100%.
And if you have any more thoughts about Paramount as a company, and if you also want them to die a horrible, I'm only joking. I'm joking. Leave a comment about your thoughts.
Please invite us to a premiere, Paramount.
Please invite us to Sonic 4's premiere. Please invite us. I will tell the producers to their face, fix your company.
We love Sonic. I would love to go to Sonic 4 premiere.
I'd love to go to the premiere. That would be awesome. But yeah, if you have thoughts about, I guess, the industry, things that we missed, things we got wrong, or maybe you want to just talk about the franchises in general, please leave them in the comments down below, and make sure to leave a like on this video, or if you're watching this, leave a review on Apple Podcasts and on Spotify, because we haven't, as of this recording, I know we haven't sorted out the Spotify uploads yet, but that's mainly just because I thought it would be a lot easier, because since the original Coffee Club run, we had to rely on SoundCloud to get it on streaming services and everything.
Yeah,
but
we just got to make an RSS feed. That's it.
Yeah, so I think as of now, we're probably going to try and get it on the other streaming services, so you don't have to rely on watching it on YouTube all the time. But if you enjoyed it, make sure to leave a like and comment down below. Make sure to follow our socials, follow our letterbox link in the description below, and we will see you guys next week for some more film industry talk and game talk. So I'll see you guys later.
Wait, before we end it there, I had a quick idea. You mentioned the letter, but if you clicked end?
No, I haven't clicked end. I'm still going.
Okay. I was saying maybe we should make like another letterbox for the coffee club, and like we can like rank movies where we have to come to debate a movie and come to like a collective rating.
We could do that in a future episode. Actually, we could do that in a future episode. Let's do that. We'll put that on the list. We did outro it. We're gonna have to unoutro it to re-outro it. But if you do have episode ideas for us as well, not like we're running out, because we've got plenty of ideas. But if you do have any concepts you want us to do in a specific episode that you want to see, leave them in the comments down below, and also at us on Twitter as well, because we really want to make this a long-term thing. But now I think we can say goodbye. Thank you guys so much for watching the podcast or listening to it, and we'll see you guys in the next one.
Bye.